What up, y'all? This is Tracy from Nerd Squish, and today we're going to be talking about the 1933 Universal Monster classic, The Invisible Man. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we got another Universal Monsters video for you today. Are you excited? Because I know I am. The Invisible Man follows Dr. Jack Griffin, who has figured out a way to turn himself invisible. However, a side effect of the chemicals and the potions that he uses to turn himself invisible makes him go crazy on a violent rampage of murder and doom, which, you know, it's sad, but it's entertaining to watch. So, this movie is based off of the H.G. Wells novel, The Invisible Man. From what I've heard, the movie and the book are pretty spot on with each other, obviously with a couple differences, such as the added love interest played by Gloria Stewart. Now, if you don't recognize Gloria Stewart, slow down, because you've seen this lady before. Maybe a little bit more wrinkly, but you've seen her before. You know, the old lady in Titanic, that's her. That's her. The old lady that threw the diamond in the ocean at the end, that is Gloria Stewart, our very own Flora. Where to begin with this movie? I love The Invisible Man. There are just so many things to love about this movie. First and foremost, Claude Rains, who plays Dr. Jack Griffin. Claude Rains was not the original choice to play the title role. Originally, Boris Karloff was in the mix. However, the director, James Whale, who also did Frankenstein, him and your boy Karloff, they didn't get along so well, so he didn't get the role. Not to mention, it was rumored that his voice and his, little bit of a lisp that he had wouldn't work for a role that was primarily just a voice. Whale said that he wanted someone with an intellectual voice, which, if I do say so myself, Claude Rains has a very, very distinguished, it's a good voice. It's a good voice for what we got going on in this movie. And even though Claude Rains is the lead of this film, 95% of the film, you never even see his face. His face can only be seen in the last 20 seconds of the film, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. I mean, wild. And a lot of people probably didn't even want to touch this role because they're like, ain't nobody gonna see this money maker? Like, it's just my voice? People would love that today with, voice acting and cartoons and stuff being as big as they are. But back in the day, people were probably like, you want me to do what? I'm just bandaged? I'm just gonna be bandaged up? I don't think so. Okay, so I love this character of the Invisible Man. I love his insane, cocky confidence. And who does not love that insane laugh? The same laugh that inspired Mark Hamill for his performance of the Joker in Batman the Animated Series and all the video games and other versions that he's done. But at the same time, Claude Rains has a full range of emotions in this movie. It really showcases how great of an actor he is and how much he deserves all the roles that he got after this. Not only can he do the insane parts of it, but he can manage to do this as super humorous, silly, ridiculous, I don't even know what's going on parts of it. Because who doesn't love the part where he's literally just pants? He is just wearing pants and he's like invisible. So this lady's screaming down the street and you just see these jogging pants. Here we go, gathering nuts in May, nuts in May, nuts in May. That is hilarious. Like, I can't. And this is definitely one of the more humorous of the Universal monster movies. You know, many of the movies don't have a lot of humor in them. But this one really embraced it because, I mean, I guess it really is like an insane idea. And now you could say back in the day, Frankenstein was insane, this was insane, whatever. But to me, like, it fits this story very well. So not only does Claude Rains manage to do the insanity and the humor, but he can pull off a caring, soulful character. Now, as I said before, Flora's character, the love interest, wasn't in the book. They put it in the movie to make it more appealing, because who doesn't like a little romance? And he speaks so differently to her, so soulful and so caring. And it's not cheesy, like he pulls it off. Speaking of reasons that this movie stands out amongst the other Universal monsters, this dude has the highest kill count on screen of any other monster. He basically kills over 100 people in this one movie. Because you could argue and say that, well, Dracula, you know, he's been around for a really long time, he's been biting a lot of necks, killing a lot of people, but in the actual movie, not so much. This dude has 4 depicted deaths on screen, 18 search party members off screen, and then a train containing probably about 100 people. Like, he was killing it. The next thing that really stands out about this movie is obviously the visual effects that they use. Now keep in mind this is 1933 that they did this effect to make him look invisible. And here we are, as I'm filming this in 2021, and it still looks so good. And let's face it, how many movies from the past, couple years can say that? I mean, movies that I grew up with, and I was thinking, oh man, this is like high quality, like effects here. I watch them now, and I'm like, ugh, and it's like 10 years old. This movie was filmed in 1933, and these effects still look amazing. So to achieve the invisible look, they actually had Claude Rains in black velvet in front of a black velvet background. So for a lot of scenes, even if it was like a very, very small scene, they would have to film that particular shot multiple times, one with Claude Rains, one without Claude Rains, and layer them and all this stuff to really achieve this look. And I mean, again, 1933, and it still looks fantastic. How many movies can say that? Now, obviously, The Invisible Man has been kind of more relevant lately, I guess you could say, because they had the recent reboot in 2020. But, I don't know how I feel about it. I appreciate the modern take, but I don't want a dude in a high-tech suit. That is not interesting to me. I want a dude in a mad scientist lab just whipping up chemicals and drinking that stuff and having his body change. I don't want him to make just a costume. No. I love that he is a monster. In his brain and all over his body, this dude is a monster through and through. I really do feel like the Invisible Man is an underrated Universal monster. You have the heavy hitters like Frankenstein, Dracula, and the Wolfman, but the Invisible Man often gets underlooked. Now, is this because he's not a typical monster? Who knows? But I really feel like he's one that needs to be dived into more and really talked about because it's such a good, fun movie. So if you're one of those that have overlooked this particular monster, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you dive into it. He's such an interesting character, and you really, really do feel for him. I mean, who hasn't thought about being invisible? I know I have. Let me know in the comments down below what you would do if you turned invisible. So I think this is gonna be it for our Universal Monster reviews for a while. I've covered all the main monsters that I have DVDs for, which is what I've been using to rewatch and reanalyze these movies. Now, I do have some of the sequels to some of these, and I don't have like a lot of the older ones like Phantom of the Opera and Hunchback of Notre Dame and things like that. But if you guys would like to see a second part of this series, maybe covering some of those in the sequels, let me know. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll check you nerds later.